Hey everyone, it's time for the longest section of our coastal drift knit wrap pattern for the summer mystery make-along. All right, so at some point I feel like I may have called this the wrong name. I don't know anymore. Okay, so I have my wrap here. As you can see, I haven't done too much on here yet because I've done this swatch a million times in pieces before I actually put it onto my actual work in progress here. So where I am right now is probably not too much further than where you will be when you get to this video. But I just wanted to pull it out so you can kind of see our flow. Well, let's see, it doesn't actually all fit in frame, but here we have the knotted open work. And then, so we took this color and we flowed that light blue into our garter stitch section, and we introduced husk, and then we took that into this last section, which was our elongated drop stitch. And now we're stopping with husk, that is no more, and we're taking Neptune into this next section, which is technically a honeybee pattern, but I picked it because it reminded me of bubbles, and this whole thing is water themed, right? It also kind of reminded me a little bit of what's going on in the crochet wrap. So, not going to work on the shawl because I feel like it's getting too big and awkward and in the way, but I wanted you to kind of get a visual of what's going on here. So we'll get that out of the way and get our trusty swatch. So this is a 4-row 4-stitch repeat, and in the pattern I have written it and charted it. Now, the reason that I charted it is, and you may notice it scrunches a little bit, but this has some very open stitches, so it's going to pull out. I don't want to pull it off my needles. The reason that I charted it is because I just wanted to give a visual of what it looked like. But I also want to point out that row 1 of the chart and the written instructions, the repeat line on the chart is not in exactly the same spot as the repeat on the written pattern, just because it's visually and written not intuitive to write it the same way as it is to look at it. I'm gonna say it right now as I wrote it. So if you're reading it in the instructions, that's how I'm going to be saying it right now. I just wanted to make sure I pointed that out before anybody looked at the chart and said, hey, that's not how you said it in the video. All right, so again, as the entire rest of the shawl, you probably picked up on, I'm going with, it's very repetitive, and that was intentional because the idea behind this shawl was to have something that was repetitive and relaxing, and you could kind of sort of, relax into and hopefully sort of lose yourself in and de-stress, and I hope that's how you've been feeling. And that all these double yarn overs, because you're about to do more of them, have not been stressing you out. So in the last section, we did double yarn overs that did not change your stitch count. They were used as to elongate. In this section, we are using stitch elongated Sorry, I've been talking too much. We are using double yarn overs to change your stitch count, really to keep your stitch count, because we are doing decreases. So we have 2 decreases, which means we need to have 2 increases. All right, so if we get into it, it'll start making more sense than if I just keep talking. So let's show you what's going on here. And again, it's only, the repeat's only 4 stitches. So I think, where is this yarn here? As you go into it, you should really find yourself going with the flow on this. So you have knit 1, purl 1, knit 1 is your setup. Now, the part that I was probably getting you totally confused, that was different between the chart and the written, is the repeat on the chart is gonna have you start here with the yarn over the written instructions. This is outside of the repeat line. So you had knit, purl, knit, and you're gonna throw in a yarn over. So here's your repeat section. So you're going to do slip, slip, knit, knit 2 together, double yarn over. So that's a left leaning decrease, a right leaning decrease, and a double yarn over. And that's your repeat section. So we got slip, slip, knit, knit 2 together, and a double yarn over. And that's it. That's your repeat all the way across the row. Slip, slip, knit, knit 2 together, double yarn over. Slip, slip, knit 2 together, double yarn over. Lean to the left, lean to the right. And since I've worked a few repeats on this swatch, you can kind of see what's happening is that left and right leaning decrease is sort of closing the bubble, we'll call it, from the repeat below. They don't really look like honeycombs to me. Nope, they don't look like structured enough for honeycomb. Okay, put 2 together. So now we're coming towards the end, and I'm running out of yarn. Okay, double yarn over. Left, right. Now we're gonna have to balance it out, and we have that final yarn over, which is just a single like we had at the other end. Knit, purl, knit. Okay, so now here's where we have it differs from what we did in that previous section. So we're gonna flip it around, and we've got purl, knit, purl. That first yarn over was just a single, so we're just gonna purl there. Okay, these are all purls other than that edge stitch. When you get to that, double yarn over. Okay, now, so we had those decreases. This double yarn over needs to become 2 stitches to make up for the fact that we just decreased 2 stitches. So what you're going to do is you're going to purl into the front of it like normal, and that loop comes off. And now purl into the back loop, so it twists the stitch so that that open loop becomes a stitch, and it creates a second stitch. You purl 2, and then you come to the next one. So you purl into the front, right? So there's this open stitch, so you can't purl into the front of it again. Doesn't work. you purl into the back so that it twists and becomes another stitch. Now, I know I've said in other videos that I actually like purling, so this doesn't bother me. But I know purling isn't high on everybody's list of favorite things to do. So if you're one of those people that purling, oh, my yarn is jumping around. If purling is not on the top of your list and this is going to be a make or break thing for you where it's gonna, you know, maybe cause you to not want to do the shawl, then you can make this a knit. So if you knit into the front and the back of it, you go knit and then knit through the back, you're not really going to drastically alter the design. So, but then flip back. So the rest of it would still have to be purled. So purl these next 2 stitches, and then in the double yarn over, knit, and then knit into the back loop, and then flip it back. Purl those next 2 stitches. So the only ones you're knitting, the only thing you're changing is to knit into the front and the back loop, right? I don't know. So that knit into it, and then you would knit into the back loop. Okay, so that's the only thing that I changed. So if you find that a lot easier, instead of doing the purl front and back in those double yarn overs, please do it. I'm not a stickler for pattern following, even though I write them. I am all for changing patterns to make them work better for you. So, all right. Now you see these holes stagger here. My yarn's running across the back. So if you start to get lost, now in this next row that we're gonna do, here's where our double yarn overs just were. So this next row, our double yarn overs are going to now end up here, staggered from where they just were, which was here. So we're gonna end up having the double yarn overs here. And these stitches are going to be where we're having the decreases. So we're gonna get that started. And again, you're probably gonna see that this pattern is pulling in, but remember that we are gonna block out the shawl, or I hope you're gonna block out the shawl. I like to get the shawl wet in the shower or the bathtub, and then I sort of smack it. Well, first I get the extra water out, and then I really shake it out. All right, so the next is knit, purl, knit. And this row actually lines up with the chart. So knit, purl, knit, and then your repeat is going to be left leaning decrease, double yarn over, right leaning decrease. So slip, slip, knit, double yarn over, knit 2 together. So that's where we did that knit front and back. So it really doesn't, like, it gave you a little bit of a garter stitch ridge, but is it really going to throw you off so much that, do you care if that makes the pattern easier for you? I mean, it's up to you. It's your shawl, so do what you like, right? All right, so now that I said that, where am I in the pattern? Double yarn over. Okay, left, double yarn over, right. And so that may be left, double yarn over, and right, and left. So this, I mean, it's gonna be all the way across. I don't know if you need to see me do it again. I think you got the point. And the back side is gonna be the same, right? So your yarn overs are gonna line up, like I said, your double yarn overs are gonna line up so that they stagger, right? And your decreases close that bubble from before. Your double yarn overs are here. Your decreases are here. And then, see? Up. And there's the next bubble, right? Got it here. I'm just going to do that all the way across, and then your next row is the same. The wrong side rows are all the same. They're just resting, essentially, with the either purl front and back or knit front and back, whatever you decide that you like better, into those double yarn overs. So, and then you got your bubbles, your cute little bubbles. That's it. Go with the flow. Drift away on some bubbles. I'll see you in the next stitch. This one's really long. This one's very, very long. So it's 20 inches long, I believe. So yeah, see you guys in clue 3. Bye.